When it comes to social media platforms, there's none that are as consistently well performing as YouTube. Ever since its creation in 2005, it's been the de facto website of entertainment for literally billions of people, and a good number of lucky creators have been able to make videos as a full-time career. All in all, YouTube is a pretty great place. While people like to complain about how much YouTube sucks, it really isn't as bad as it was a few years ago. And yeah, things aren't perfect, but as a whole, I'd say YouTube's better than ever, even with some of its less favorable changes along the way. Whenever one of these really brain-dead decisions occur, I always see a number of people in the comments proclaiming that a great exodus will someday arrive. But is that really something that could happen? At this point, probably not. But if that were to ever happen, where would we all go? While the likelihood of a shutdown is all but impossible, it would be interesting to see what other websites or alternatives we could use in place of YouTube. So that's exactly what I'll be doing today. I'm gonna go through the years to tell the stories of some of YouTube's greatest competitors, and see if they might even be better than YouTube itself. These are some of YouTube's forgotten competitors. Vimeo is a website created in November 2004, 3 months before YouTube itself. It was actually created by Jake Lodwick and Zach Klein. And while you probably don't recognize who these people are, I think you might be familiar with their other work. They were actually the web developers of the College Humor website. Now, if that name sounds familiar, you're probably aware of their channel on YouTube, which has built up an impressive subscriber base of 14 million since the channel's creation in 2006. But the brand itself has actually been around since 1999. It started out as a simple place to share and tag short video clips with your friends, with the main difference between it and YouTube being a greater focus on the creators by giving them better tools related to uploading. It also had better video quality than YouTube, becoming the very first video streaming site to offer videos in HD, all the way back in 2007. However, over the years, their goals have changed. Their main focus as of 2016 is to be a software provider rather than a video watching site, so its validity as a YouTube competitor is a tad bit questionable nowadays. While there are still videos being uploaded to the site, the views are far fewer than you'd expect from a platform of their size. So clearly video viewing isn't the main focus in terms of revenue. It seems to be directed more towards companies and businesses, making its revenue through different plans with varying perks. Nowadays, Vimeo is actually doing quite well, marketing itself as the world's all-in-one video solution. In the second quarter of 2022, Vimeo made $111 million, so it doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. Dailymotion is a site launched just 1 month after YouTube, in March of 2005. Dailymotion's goal was pretty much just the same as Vimeo and YouTube, to become the primary video sharing website. While being a small startup in the beginning, since 2015 it's been a subsidiary of Vivendi, a French media company that actually owns Gameloft of all things. Looking at the site today, you can see that it's designed in a way that looks similar to what you'd see on a news site, with most of its UI stripped down to the bare minimum. And the main page shows several videos uploaded by news companies. But when it comes to independent content, there really doesn't seem to be much here. But looking back in time, the site seemed to have quite a few more videos uploaded by individuals. It seems that the news guys were the only people to stick around. And even then, the videos are most definitely re-uploads from YouTube. Not that the content was any more original before. Dailymotion also had many struggles with copyright over the years, as they've always been less strict when it comes to copyright protection. But this put the site in a position where they're actually deemed liable for any possible copyright infringement, as they were deemed aware of the issue but not attempting to fix it, which goes against safe harbor regulations, which are the laws that allow a company to not be deemed liable for copyright infringements caused by their users. YouTube is free from these kinds of issues because they have a series of complex algorithms and copyright ID scanning softwares that can identify and punish offenders. But without that, Dailymotion was left open to be taken to court, leading to a $1.3 million fine from the government in late 2014. And if you think YouTube removing dislikes was bad, well, things here are a whole lot worse. Around 2018, the comment section was straight up removed, without any comment on the matter. And 3 years later, in mid-2021, they actually removed view counts. A part of me fears that YouTube might be at a similar point one day, if we keep going down the path of removing established features. Veoh was first launched in September 2005 as a virtual TV app. It was designed to be downloaded on a PC or Mac, and television content would be put on there and watched without having to worry about the regulations surrounding traditional TV. But then it was completely redesigned and relaunched in beta as a video streaming platform in March 2006, with a full release the next year. Going on the site today, you can absolutely see some of that old school YouTube charm, with the lower quality in the editing, load times, and even the content itself. But there's something about the videos on this site that have a sense of charm to them. Something here feels more indie than most of modern YouTube. And while it was certainly a bit weird watching these brand new videos that look like they could have been released in 2007, it feels pretty nice to get away from the blatant commercialism for at least once in a while. And while there aren't any comments here, or even dislikes, you may be surprised to see that the star rating system is here, which is kind of the exact opposite of YouTube removing dislikes. I was actually pleasantly surprised with this one. You have to go and track down the content yourself, which is something that doesn't really happen often in the modern landscape because of how honed in the algorithm is on the content I like to watch. Sadly, like Dailymotion, Veoh was also under a good amount of legal attack, so much to the point where in 2010 the site was actually headed towards bankruptcy. But thankfully, a company called Qlipso purchased the startup for an undisclosed amount of money, so it continues to operate to this day. But with that being said, the site seems to have been abandoned by staff, with its privacy policy having not been updated since 2008, and its terms of service hasn't had an update since 2009. So while some people are still using it, I think it's pretty safe to say that this one's at least been forgotten by the people who are supposed to be running it. Described as a hybrid of a video streaming site like YouTube and a thread-based conversation site like Reddit, Vidme was launched in 2014. And after receiving funding, things seemed to be going quite well. It ended up getting around 30 million unique visitors a month, which I'd say is pretty good. But in December of 2017, after being worked on for nearly 4 years, the site would end up being shut down. This was because the modern internet landscape was simply too competitive and cutthroat to keep up with, as well as the fact that Vidme couldn't find a sustainable business model. But earlier that same year, we would see the launch of another site. If you've been on YouTube for a while, you've probably seen one of these videos. These fall under the classic genre of internet freakout videos, and right next to Boogie2988 and Waffle Pone stands Mick Juggernuggets, more well known as Jesse Ridgway, or the Psycho Kid. But over the years, Jesse's satisfaction with the site had dropped lower and lower, as YouTube became more corporate. He ended up creating a platform of his own, that being Storyfire. The reason to watch it over YouTube was the higher emphasis on quality control, as the site was a whole lot smaller than YouTube, allowing it to be curated in a way that isn't possible with the former. To upload on Storyfire, you actually have to be manually approved, which means that slightly edgy content can still be fully monetized, but content that pushes the limits too far would be straight up unaccepted. Now, there have been other video sharing platforms made to compete with YouTube before. Many even came before YouTube itself. But I've never seen a competing platform that was actually created by a YouTuber. But there was a major issue with Storyfire's success. By 2017, YouTube was already the biggest video sharing website for a good while, and Storyfire didn't do much to give a reason for viewers to switch over, besides allowing fans of terminated YouTubers like Leafy's Here and Xbox Addictions to have a place to continue watching them. Sure, curated content sounds nice, but at the end of the day, for Storyfire to gain any traction, they would have to convince audiences to leave YouTube and get on Storyfire, a platform with practically none of the content or content creators that the audience already enjoys. You couldn't actively use both platforms unless you'd only be there to watch one specific creator. But that would lead to a similar issue Mixer had with Ninja. The audience wouldn't become fans of the site, they would just stay fans of the creator, and YouTube just has more of those. Then, in 2020, Jesse would release a video claiming that Storyfire would be shut down the next year, due to lack of funding and external support. The site was saved last second, apparently from personal funds. The site is actually still around today. And to me, it seems like the best YouTube alternative around right now. But in terms of user base, there's still no chance of it being able to compete with YouTube. So obviously, not all online entertainment platforms have been forgotten. And while they aren't directly competing with the same demographic YouTube encompasses, these websites still cause people to spend their time on other sites that aren't YouTube. So they're still indirectly competing with the site. I'm of course talking about TikTok and Twitch. These sites seem to be polar opposites when it comes to the internet video industry. TikTok specializes in a barrage of minute-long content that were specifically designed to keep you interested for as long as possible. And Twitch is a streaming site where people watch YouTube videos for several hours at a time. Personally, I don't mind either platform, but I really don't feel like getting deep into either one, because, as mentioned earlier, these ones weren't forgotten. But you should at least be able to see that TikTok and Twitch are still around because they at least capture a slightly different audience compared to YouTube. Oh wait. So yeah, YouTube's been doing this thing for quite a while, where they take inspiration from the other social media platforms around them. They took stories from Instagram, community posts from Twitter, YouTube Music from Spotify, YouTube Gaming from Twitch, YouTube Premium, which used to be YouTube Red, from Netflix, and of course, Shorts from TikTok. YouTube is now this weird amalgamate of already existing platforms. These are just a few of YouTube's many competitors over the years. Something you'll notice is that there was a lot more direct competitors back when video hosting platforms were just starting up, as this was before YouTube had already become the primary source of internet content viewing. And all of YouTube's current competition at least go for a slightly different gimmick or demographic. I hope you enjoyed my look through some of these. If you're sick of YouTube and want somewhere else to go, or you're looking for a good alternative, I recommend both Veoh and Storyfire. Okay, bye.